Like the ancient live oaks that line Highway 90 along the Mississippi Gulf Coast, nonprofits and community-based service organizations like the Gulf Coast Women's Center for Nonviolence were devastated after Hurricane Katrina. Today, 6 years after the storm, beautiful statues stand in place of fallen trees, and nonprofits persevere, striving to improve the lives of the people of the Gulf Coast, taking something broken and giving it new life.
The Gulf Coast Women's Center for Nonviolence has been serving the 6 coastal counties of Mississippi for about 33 years. We offer a myriad of services from an emergency shelter for domestic violence victims and their children, as well as outreach counseling for domestic violence and sexual assault, a rape crisis program at local hospitals. We have legal assistance, court advocacy, as well as a therapeutic preschool and various case management services as well. Our services are comprehensive because they have to be for a long-term change. A client can come into shelter and receive life skills training, which will open her educational opportunities, help her find employment, help her increase her financial knowledge and stability, as well as increase her parenting skills and lower stress levels. So we try to look to every situation that can increase their mental health and their emotional wellness that will lead to that long-term positive change. A story that comes to mind is one of our clients, Karen. She was living in the shelter prior to Katrina and was very close to moving into her own home, in part due to a federal grant that was going to help her obtain that home. Katrina hit, that home was completely destroyed, so that opportunity was lost. She was able to stay in the center, and we were able to still provide services to her and her 3 children. She was able to regain employment and re-enroll in school in the time that she stayed in the center, and then later in 2006 was able to use that grant and obtain housing. So had we not been able to continue our services, she very well would have been homeless.
To increase the likelihood of long-term recovery, the Foundation for the Mid-South supported efforts that were comprehensive and that could also produce ripples that would cross the spectrum of recovery and community challenges.
In the wake of Katrina, our local funders, city and counties, obviously could not continue to fund us the way they had prior to Katrina. We also took hits from federal and state grants as well. So to rebuild that budget, we built stronger and better relationships on foundations and began to rely on them more in order to rebuild our budget and continue our services. I think post-Katrina and post-oil spill, the stigma has been reduced. The stigma's been reduced as far as mental health goes and as far as seeking services goes. On the flip side of that, it really shed a light on how lacking our services were, how taxed and overworked the few mental health services that we have on the coast are, and our need to expand those services. Despite some of the challenges, there have been opportunities that were presented to us post-Katrina. Our presence in the rural courts in the 3 more northern counties of our service area has grown. The advocacy has grown, which has helped us grow our numbers in shelter as well as in group. Our homicide program has also definitely expanded the numbers of groups, the numbers of events, and the numbers of people who are aware that this service is available to them. Today we are actually serving more clients. Our numbers have gone up in all areas, and we're expanding our services by opening a new shelter in the Pascagoula area. There's a story of a man walking on the beach, tossing starfish back into the ocean. Another man approaches and asks him, "What are you doing? Don't you know you can't save them all?" He tosses one in and says, "Well, I saved that one." And that's what we believe at the Gulf Coast Women's Center for Nonviolence. We can't reach everyone, we can't help everyone, but those that we do serve have a positive impact on their lives, which enhances the lives of their children, their families, and their community. That's our ultimate goal, to grow this community, to serve this community.